like we said before in part one, the campground that we are at, Oyster Point Campground, does not have electricity. So what I have behind me now is the flash fish and the solar panel that I purchased to charge the flash fish. I brought that with us, which the flash fish is a 200-watt portable power station. And it is great to be able to pump up our bed, to be able to charge our phone. And it's just overall great to have it when you might need some electricity in a pinch. Because this is kind of our first opportunity for us to do, as you would say, a type of boondocking at a campground. Because the only thing we have here is a little bit of water. It was primarily easy to set up. I had to figure out where the hole was to put the cable to actually charge the flash fish, which was in the back of the actual solar panel. So I figured that out. Now we have it all set up. And if we need electricity, we have a little bit. Of course, one day we do plan on upgrading to a bigger solar portable charger generator, if you want to call it that. But yeah, that's the setup for this camping trip. So we told you at the grocery store, we were going to show you when we got to the campground which barbecue sauce that we picked out. Did any of you guess it? Well, we actually picked up Sticky Fingers. This one is the Sticky Fingers Carolina Sweet because we're from Carolina, and it's the Sticky Fingers Smokehouse Carolina Sweet Original Barbecue Sauce. It's also gluten-free, so let me show it to you again. Now we're just gonna have to see how that tastes on our food. We'll let you know. Snatcher is finished cooking up the meal for this beautiful Friday, which is about to begin Passover. And here it is. We got the lamb with the barbecue sauce. We have some bitter herbs here, which is our radicchio and spring mix leafy green lettuce with no salad dressing. And we have unleavened bread, which, like I said, I cook for myself, which you can go to my channel to be able to figure out how to make that. If you want to know how to make that, again, that's Set Apart with Nikki. Now, I'm going to go ahead and enjoy this meal that the Snatcher has prepared, that the Lord honored and blessed his hands to cook. And he's already started, but y'all already know the deal. He gets busy. All right. I'm going to take my meal to the tent. I had to come inside. These bugs. But Snatcher set up the tent for the both of us so that we can sit inside of the tent and eat our Passover meal while we are enjoying God's creation. So we'll catch you in a minute.
Rise and grind.
Morning.
Rise and grind. What's up, gang? I've been watching this all night long. Let me shed some light on this situation for you. Yeah, let me see us a little better. Get you a better view. How's everybody doing this morning? Welcome to another Wherever We Land episode. And now we need to get up and get ourselves together. And then we'll tell you what we got going on.
Absolutely. and you're gonna enjoy it. So we got a few things we need to talk about.
Yeah, like I ate really good last night. That lamb was delicious. It was scrumptious. The barbecue sauce, I'll tell you about.
Oh, yeah. Mwah. Chef's kiss.
Well, let me get up and get washed up, cleaned up, and get myself together. Catch y'all in a minute. As I sit back and relax and drink me a good cup of coffee, iced coffee that is, we have to get us a coffee maker inside a Glow when we get our power situated. But drinking my coffee, writing my blog. And as Nikki and I told you in previous videos, we write a blog 6 days a week over on our whereverweland.org website. We encourage y'all to check it out. And the blog I'm writing today is called Making God Laugh and Embracing the Camper Van Life. Should be an interesting read. I think so anyway. Check it out over on our whereverweland.org. Yeah. Let me get to it. I need some coffee in my life, as you can tell.
So, gang, while Snatcher's writing a blog and drinking his coffee, I thought I would take you guys on a little walk to go see the water, which is called Newport River. I thought, while he's writing a blog, let me walk over and show you guys what the actual trail and water looks like. So if you guys ever want to come to Newport, or I think it's actually called Moorhead is the town, but it's near Newport. So here's the access point to the water. And when I turn around, you see if you go up that way, you get back to the actual campsite that belongs to this particular trail, which was campsite number 13. And here you go. Oh man, I just missed it. It was a nice little fish over there that just jumped up out of the water. Snatcher would have a nice time out here. Only thing though, it kind of looks like you need like muck boots down there, because the water actually starts coming up about right here and then goes out from there. And I bet when it is warm, there is snakes all up in here. And y'all already know, Nikki don't do water and Nikki don't do snakes, but Nikki does water because Snatcher is her husband. And so as a good wife, I try to support and get out here and fish right along with him. And I actually enjoy fishing. The quiet time, the peace that you have fishing is absolutely great. And so that part I don't mind. I just don't like swimming and stuff in water. But yeah, you turn around and get you a full view. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is, guys. The sun has risen to the east and is shining on my face. It feels absolutely great out here. It was pretty chilly last night. I don't know, maybe 50 degrees, I would say. So not as bad as the night before that we slept here, because we were actually cold up in that van. But we'll talk about that more when I get back to Snatcher. But I just wanted to come down and show you this beautiful river that they have near this campground. Again, the campground is Oyster Point Campground, and this is Newport River. All right, let's head back up to catch back up with Snatcher and see if he is done writing the morning blog. I better be paying attention to where I'm stepping. But yeah, let's go see if he's done with the morning blog for our website, whereverweland.org. Same to you. It's beautiful this morning. Yeah. All right, guys, we have made it back to Glow. Let's see if Snatcher is done with the morning vlog. I took him on a walk, Snatcher, while you were writing a blog over to the river. You done?
It was beautiful over there.
Oh my goodness, you would absolutely love it. I told them you would love to fish in there, and I actually saw a fish jump up out of the water while I was over there, but I don't think I caught it on camera. But you definitely need muck boots.
Yeah, I figured that. Well, I bought my rod and stuff, but I didn't have the proper gear to get out there to the water, so I didn't go, gang. But yeah, I think there's a pier around here. I might check that out today because we actually check out tomorrow. But let's see what happens.
All right.
Now we got to read our Bibles first before we do anything.
That we do.
And then get some breakfast in us.
Mm-hmm. We got them sitting right there, ready to go. All right, guys. Well, we're going to get to reading our Bibles, and we'll get back with you in a moment.
All right, gang, meal's all done. What we have here is a fiesta, Snatcher
Fiesta,
style.
fiesta.
Yeah.
And you saw it has beef bacon, eggs, sauteed onions, peppers, and some cheese. Tastes good too, because I already took a bite. I couldn't wait.
I did too. Well, let me taste it with some bacon. See what we got here, gang.
Hey.
That is on the money, gang.
When food make you dance, you know it tastes good.
Let's try that. You know, we typically eat turkey bacon, but I gotta say, I think this tastes better with beef bacon than it does with turkey.
And I think it's the fat from the beef gives it flavor. So I didn't put a lot of salt in the egg because I knew that the beef was gonna bring it all together.
The onions, the green peppers, all of that mixed in with the cheese. Look at that, gang. That's for you. Psych.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hope you enjoyed the bite.
I know we're probably making you hungry. So let's finish up our meal and we'll be right back with you.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We enjoyed a good, delicious meal. Thank you, God, for the food. Oh, man, it was delicious. And speaking of that, we ran low on coals, gang. 'Cause I'm going to have to tell you the whole story. So you see we got a tent set up behind us. And to explain that, we didn't sleep in a tent. As you've seen, we slept in glow. But we wanted to have some shelter. So in the future, the goal is going to be to purchase a gazebo.
Right.
Like, you know, an outdoor space. As you can see, we got this smoke going as well, because like Nikki told you earlier in the video about the bugs.
Oh my goodness, these bugs is crazy down here.
They are real, gang. We had started a fire to keep the smoke going and use some pine cones around here. And to get to that, while we ran out of coals, you want to tell them or you want me to tell them?
Oh, you mean while we was cooking when we ran out of coal?
Yeah.
So to stay warm, because it was also a little cool before, we used...
It wasn't a little cool, it was a lot of cool. So the temperature yesterday didn't get up higher than 53.
Yeah, it was pretty
55 was supposed to be the high.
Right.
But there was an overcast the whole day. So the
day.
temperature
Well, every now and again the sun might go peekaboo.
Well, around 5 o'clock is when it actually started doing that.
Yeah.
But for the whole day, for the most part, it was overcast. So it typically didn't get over 48 to 50 degrees yesterday.
Yeah.
And Nikki was smart. She had a coat and a jacket, and all I had was a hoodie.
But you know what? We've talked about this in previous videos, right? So y'all need to get on Snatcher again, because I be prepared for this weather out here, because you don't know if it's going to be too hot or too cold. So you always bring, which I'll give him kudos. He brought a t-shirt. I did not. But I brought layers where I could layer up because it was cold.
Well, it's the middle of spring, so you don't expect to be cold, especially in the south. So like when we got here, it was 70 something degrees.
That's true.
Right? And we left Thursday. It's now Sunday. We slept in the van Thursday. We slept in the glow. We stopped and did some stealth camping, as you see in the previous video.
Right.
And then when we got here, because it was cold that day too, right? Well, that night, because we left at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Or did we leave?
Well, no, we left about midnight.
And we got to where we stayed at 3 o'clock.
We stayed at about 3 in the morning.
It was about 40 something degrees then.
It was drizzling somewhat, like a little bit of rain was going on too.
Yeah, oh, a little bit. I forgot about that. On the way here, it was like a hurricane. I think there's some footage of that.
I think I felt it. Oh no, yeah, I did get some footage of rain coming as we were coming. Yeah,
that's in the other video though. But long story short is that
it was cold.
It was cold.
And he said, "You know what, Nikki?" Because we were inside the tent, but it was still cold. He was like, "Well, I could start the fire with our little flash fish."
No, it's not a flash fish.
With our little flat pack. My bad, y'all. My bad. But with our little flat pack,
She's skipping the story again. Hold on, I gotta cut you off.
What happened?
Because why did we have to use the flat pack?
You mean to cook with?
So when we got here, gang, there was no wood for sale.
Oh.
So we even drove when we got groceries.
Yeah.
We had to drive out. So it's a mile road coming into these woods by itself. And when you come in, you're almost coming like onto a peninsula, going back here where the campground is at.
Yeah.
And after you get on that peninsula, you go to the end of that, then you make a right turn onto a dirt road.
And y'all should see it because it's footage of us coming in.
But that's in the last video. It's not in this one. So if you're just tuning in, you have to watch the last video to see that.
Right.
But again, long story longer. we came in, seen our setup and everything where we was gonna be camping at. Beautiful spot. So we went to go get supplies like groceries and things because we was in a rush. Because we supposed to got here Thursday at 11, or what time was check-in Thursday?
1 o'clock.
But we didn't get here till Friday, and they told Nikki that as long as we got here before checkout Friday, that we could still have our spot guaranteed, right? So that's what happened. We went to the supermarket to get our supplies, our groceries and things like that, and we thought because they didn't have wood here, that we can purchase wood there.
Which is crazy in and of itself, guys, because most campgrounds that we've ever been to has firewood. Right. So leave us a comment below and let us know, is that something that's normal when you get to, I guess maybe because this is one of those forestry campgrounds, but I would think that still would make it have firewood. But yeah, they didn't have none for sale.
Well, on top of that, maybe it's because I don't know why they didn't have firewood, honestly. But
we were told by some other campers that there was a gentleman at the beginning when you come in who was actually, he's not a part of the campground, but he was just outside of it and he was selling wood. So we may have missed him. I don't know. And
so one of the things that we have learned since we've been camping is that most campgrounds don't want you bringing your own firewood from outside of that area because it can bring different insects and things like that that can be an invasive species to that area.
Right.
So they request that you bring wood or buy wood from them or somewhere local in that area. So it's the typical wood that's of that area.
Right.
So be mindful of that before bringing just wood somewhere. They might check it and see if you got their wood or you bought it from somewhere else. And I don't know if that's a fine or what, but long story short, we had to use our flat pack. But that's how God always got us wherever we land. Because leaving the house, we was deciding whether we was going to use the gas grill or the, what's the other one called? The big one. The Blackstone.
Oh, the Blackstone.
Yeah, we was deciding that, and then we was deciding whether we were going to use the grill. Well, originally I was wanting to do the flat pack, but I bought the grill because Nikki was wanting to do the grill. But I forgot propane.
This is true. And the flat pack typically is already in our tote, so it would have been there anyway. So God still had us.
That's
either
right.
way.
And I had a brand new bag of wood chips that I used to cook with. Now these ain't your typical little tiny little wood chips. These is big chunks of wood.
Yeah.
So we was burning that. That was the only firewood we had.
That's all we had.
And we got inside this tent right here with it.
We did, and we were burning it up to keep it warm, and then those got gone.
Yeah.
Now, I'm taking a little nap. Went and got my blanket out the car. And cover myself up. We got the fire going. I'm good and warm. Now, unbeknownst to me, I guess that fire was going away, but I had the blanket, so I was still a little warm. Snatcher was like, oh, gotta make some more fire. So he took that charcoal and dumped it in the flat pack.
Sure did.
At this point, the Lord said, wake up, Nikki.
He woke up too late, didn't he?
And I was like, why you put that much charcoal in the flat pack? And so you gotta make sure we have something to be able to cook with.
But guess what, gang? She was wiggling them little toes right in front of that flat pack, trying to stay warm.
And he goes, oh, yeah, we'll be fine. We got enough to cook with, but not realizing we had how many more dinners to cook? Or we had a breakfast and a dinner.
Yeah,
we had a breakfast and a dinner to cook.
Yeah.
So, well, we had enough to start this morning. You guys saw.
The breakfast, yeah. We got through dinner fine.
That we did. When it came to breakfast this morning, the fire started dwindling away. And we was like, well, the bacon's done. We still got to cook the eggs.
So what we do?
We said a prayer.
That's right. We went to God first.
And
then what happened after that?
So there's a bunch of pine needles like this laid around on the ground. And I said, well, we could try to put that in there and make the fire come up, because I knew that would set the fire back up. And he's like, well, then our food might taste like pine. I never had no food that tastes like pine.
Well, I don't think pine wood is the wood that you want to smoke your food with, me personally.
Well, but guess what?
What?
He sat back up and he said, you know what? Let's go ahead and look on the ground and see if we can find little pieces of wood. Not the pine needles, but little pieces of wood on the ground. Now, hence, there's still pine wood, because that's pretty much all that's around us is pine trees.
Right.
But that's how God works. He said, you asked me for it, and you don't want to be like the man in the boat. You know that story where they said, what is it? He asked a prayer.
Oh, he wasn't in the boat. He was in the middle of the ocean.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There was a man that was stranded in the middle of the ocean, and he prayed for God to save him. So a guy comes by in a little fishing boat, and he tells the guy, come on, I got you. He's like, nope, God's going to save me. I already prayed and asked God to save me. So he waved the guy on. Next came a little airplane, you know, one of those sea crafts, and them guys was trying to lower down a rope to him. And he said, no, you go ahead. God's going to save me. Don't worry about it. I got it. God's going to save me. So they went on, and then a cruise ship came by, and the cruise ship stopped for him, a giant cruise ship. They said, you better get on this boat. There ain't nothing coming for miles and miles away. God spoke to him and said, if you don't get on this ship, don't you ever ask me to save you again. I done sent 3 things to save you. So moral of the story is, sometimes when we pray and ask for things, it don't show up how we imagine it to look.
Right.
Right? But it always shows up. So when we prayed and asked God, even though it's been here the whole time, we just couldn't see it.
We couldn't see it. Sometimes you're blinded to things that are right in front of you. Long story short, as we said, that we made long, we picked it up off the ground, we added it to the coals, and was able to finish cooking our breakfast.
To God be the glory.
You saw how good that breakfast looked.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to take a little walk. What you think?
We can do that.
I think we need to walk a little of that breakfast off and just take in some of the scenery at the campground.
We'll bring y'all with us. How about that?
How about that? All right, here we go.
But first, a quick snatcher hack.
Snatcher style. If y'all got y'all one of these, I don't know what they call these faucets, these electric faucets, you know, that spits out the water like that. You know it comes with one of these rubber hoses here. It comes with that rubber hose there. The hardest thing to do with those hoses is to get them straight down in there. As you can see, I was just down in there sucking up water because of that hack, right? I'm gonna show you what that hack is. You see that, gang? I just took me a plastic fork and zip tied it, or bread tied it to the end of that bad boy. That straightened it right on up and got us down in the water, because before that, it was just sitting on top of the water, not sucking nothing but air. Yeah, so a metal, maybe like a stainless steel knife, butter knife or something like that, to weigh it down, be even better, because plastic is not that heavy, but it was heavy enough for us to suck water and reach the bottom. Either way, gang, quick hack, snatcher style. Yeah. Pretty nice, quiet spot, very secluded. We had a full campground last night, and there's only 16 spots here.
Yeah.
But as you can see, people know how to set up their grounds here, gang. They have a bathroom right here close to us on site, and as you can see in the distance there is some water. Yeah. Like overall, it's very peaceful out here besides the bugs. If you can deal with bugs, I think you will enjoy it.
Yeah, I agree.
What's been your favorite part of this place?
Just the peacefulness. Even though we're not right on the water as far as our campsite, it has been very peaceful. Just hearing the birds chirp and getting that first experience of sleeping inside of Glow.
I would agree with that. So right here is site number 15, and it's reserved until the 14th. What's today?
Today is the 13th.
So somebody's getting ready to come check in. And what we learned, I think we told y'all in the other video, but I'm not sure if we did or not, but this campground, all the odd numbers are sitting on the water, and then the even numbers are across from it. So one gentleman who is over here, let's take a walk down their site real quick, and I'll talk to you while we say that. So one gentleman told us that he is staying on the side of the water, and I said next time we come we're going to stay on this side. He was like, yeah, it's not bad if you can take the horse flies. So makes sense, you're closer to the water, you're going to be dealing with more bugs. But these are spacious sites, gang, and you can definitely get your RV in here. And then it still has a pad for your tent right there.
And just make sure on the site when you're checking it, it has little symbols there that tells you what goes in each site. So it says trailer, it says tent. Just pay attention when you're booking. And this, I booked this on recreation.gov. Oh, and these sites only cost $10 a night.
Look at there, gang. Somebody left some wood for the next person, because they know what they're getting ready to face. They had plenty of wood pieces here, gang. Look, plenty of wood pieces here to get a fire going. But there's a nice little trail, as you can see here, that leads to the water.
Yeah, I showed you guys this morning, but Snatcher hasn't been down here, so we wanted him to be able to come so he can enjoy the water. See what he's missing with fishing.
Nikki wouldn't let me fish, gang. Blame it on Nikki.
I done told y'all about that.
It's a nice, peaceful site. Like, you can already see the weekdays are the days to come if you want like quiet and peaceful, but you are way back in here by yourself. Like I said, there's no houses or anything back through here.
Now, this one doesn't look like it has the little drop off, or when I showed you earlier this morning, there was, when you get down to the end of it, you had to kind of almost step into the puddle. This one has like a little stepping area that you can stand to cast off to be able to cast into the water. So this site might actually be the better of the two.
Get on your knees, pray the stars alight for the
grows up trees like a vine. So I need y'all to tell us if this is poison ivy.
Yeah, because I don't know what the shape of the leaves look like. And I told him I need to learn stuff like that if I'm gonna be out here in the woods.
Yeah, gang, so get in the comment section and let us know what y'all think. Is that poison ivy or not? I'm not an expert.
And I don't think it's poison ivory. I think it's ivy, baby.
What'd I say?
You said poison ivory.
They know what I'm talking about. Don't you, gang? By now, y'all all speak Snatcher language. Speaking of that, there was somebody in the comment section that just found us, and they said they just found our videos, and it was on the How to Tent Camp video, and they was asking, you know, some tips and some tricks, which we have no problem sharing. We share everything we know. And one of her things was, like, she wanted to be, you know, knowing how to find a campsite that she doesn't have to worry about much. And I was telling her about the bears, right? I was like, all you got to worry about is bears and things like that. And that's no big deal. You know what I'm saying? Just keep your food in the car. Yeah, she's a new camper, so I told her that. But what I told her, look here, gang, this is what I told her. I said, what you want to do is you visit the campsite first, right? And if you see one of these boxes right here, and one of those creatures right there, and one of those things, I told her, Nikki, you know what I told her?
What'd you tell her?
I told her, don't do it. If you're afraid of bears, you see one of those boxes, you better not go camping there.
Because it definitely means there's some bears in the premises.
Or definitely some wildlife. That's what that's for. That's wildlife boxes.
But
yeah.
those are a little different though, right? Those are the trash boxes.
It's got a bear print on it. Nikki didn't even know. I done told her.
He didn't even tell me that, game. But he also took the trash for me. So what a gentleman.
That's what men do. We take care of our wives just like the Bible tells us so. Yeah, hopefully God's pleased with me. But whoever that was, I'll put you in the comment section. I'm just playing with you, guys. It's not that serious. Like, you know, I'm not saying that bears don't visit campgrounds and other animals do too. But like you said, we pray before we go. You do your research. Find out about the area that you're camping in, what's native to that area, and then you make your informed decision if you think that's a good spot for you. But starting out, I always say take it easy. Go to the easiest campground you can find that's closest to home, and still they'll let you ride around in the campground and visit the site so you can kind of see which one would be best for you.
Yeah, you just have to stop at the gate and ask them, make sure it's okay. And also there's a sign when you pull up to the campgrounds that gives you information all about the campground, tells you where trash bins are, and it does normally mention if there are bears in the area.
Home sweet home, Nikki.
We made it.
Yeah, as you can see, it's a nice campground, nice, quiet. Everything is close to you. It's very off-gridish.
Yeah.
Would you say that?
Yeah.
Off-gridish.
I would say that, especially being that you don't have power,
Right.
so you have to bring your own power. They do supply fresh water that's not too far from the campsite.
It's actually between our campsite and the next
another
one.
And then, like he showed you, they also have bathroom.
You do get Wi-Fi service here. No, not Wi-Fi service. You have a signal, I should say.
Right. You get your telephone service signal.
Right.
That is what you get here, which allowed me to be able to use my hotspot on my phone to be able to watch YouTube on our tablet.
Yeah, and so we watched a pretty good movie last night that put us to sleep. I can't remember what it was called.
Blessing and Curses. Something like that.
It was a low budget movie, but it was decent.
Well, actually, I mean, it was filmed pretty good. I think Dietrich Haddon.
Oh, I really couldn't see it because Nikki had a tablet over there where she was hogging it.
It was just on my lap, guys, because the whole point was really just, I guess, finish listening to it so we could fall asleep. But Dietrich Haddon, he's a gospel singer. He helped create and write that one. So I think it was Blessings and Curses. It's something like that. Look it up. It's on YouTube.
Right. And speaking of her having it on her lap, that leads into us setting up Glow. So as we told you some in the last video about us showing our setup and how we did things in here, here's a quick look at that.
All right. So here's the inside of the van. As you can see here, we have the bed laid out this way. Back in the back, we have our little garage compartment where everything is piled up. Excuse everything being everywhere because we was just trying to figure it out. We have a table here, but I'll come around and show you from the other side. But yeah, blackout curtains. Now, from this angle. So again, here's the garage where we were able to pack everything. So it gives us an idea of how we're going to have our garage set up. Of course, we got to have the battery somewhere back here and then allow for space to be able to bring things. And we did set up like a little table on top that kind of served as our counter space to be able to prepare things because it did rain. So yeah, not necessarily how it's going to be, but it kind of gives you an idea of what you might want to do when you set up your van if you take it out before it is completely converted to how you want it to be.
Now, we really were in the process of figuring out how we're going to set up Glow as we are building it, right?
Right.
So as you can see, we are still in that process, but we learned a lot. We learned a lot of things from this trip right here, and I'm sure we're going to learn more as time goes on.
Right.
So I would advise everyone who is building a camper to do the same thing. You know, before you start putting things in it, get out there and take a trip to see what you're going to actually need and how much space you actually working with inside of there, because we had a queen size mattress, like you can see, and that does take up a lot of room with that layout. What's that? North to south layout.
North to south layout.
Instead of east to west.
And we're actually going to be east to west with the build out in the van.
Right.
So the configuration is going to be different than how we had it set up.
Right.
You know, inside of there. But it still helped give us an idea of just what it's going to be like camping out in a van, doing that van life.
I agree. And I think so far, me personally, I enjoyed it. Like I told you, all I needed was a bed. I really enjoyed it. The sleeping bags, we talk about that, saved my life, gang. They was everything last night. So the first night that we slept in Glow, the first 2 nights.
Yeah, first 2 nights.
I didn't use the sleeping bag. Neither of us did. We just used our regular covers and things like that. And it was comfortable. But I still felt a little bit of the cold. And I'm going to tell you why. I tried to tell Nikki. Somebody, I can't remember who it was, a long time ago, was telling us in the comment section in a few videos ago, I can't even remember which video it was, about putting a sleeping bag on the air mattress and then put a sheet on top of it, and because of the cold air, right, the air itself gets cold inside of the mattress, which keeps the mattress itself cold. But if you put that sleeping bag on it, it creates an insulated barrier. And I'm telling you, gang, if you haven't tried that, trust me, Nikki didn't try it.
No, well, I mean, the thing is with the sleeping bag, it would initially be underneath you anyway because you're actually supposed to get in it, right? But we didn't do that. We unzipped the whole sleeping bag and opened it up like a blanket.
Right.
So he did lay on his like that. But for me, I was okay because again, I was layered up. So I had that, my sheet, my blanket, and the sleeping bag. So, but it was a lot warmer last night. And that kind of leads us to condensation. It was condensation when I woke up this morning on my phone. And it was on my phone because my nose gets cold when I'm sleeping, and even though I had all those covers, my body was warm, my nose was just cold. And so I had taken the covers and put it over my head, and I had my phone laying beside me. So I woke up and I went to go look at my phone, and I touched the screen, and sure enough, the screen had condensation, which made me think, is the van inside like that as well, the wall?
The temperature got down to the low 40s, or not the low 40s, mid 40s. And like I said, just being inside of there, breathing and things like that, you're gonna, it's like how your windows fog up in the van or in the car, right? Same type of situation. It's not like dripping, but it's still wet, right?
Right.
So like when we put walls and things like that up, that's gonna cut down on that. And we have to finish insulating it because we only have just the main wall insulated, not the little slots. And we want to keep it to where the condensation, because that's what vans are designed for that. Most vehicles probably are, but particularly this Dodge ProMaster is designed for the water and condensation to run down the walls of the van, and then they have holes that's made at the bottom of the van where the water can run out if we get that much buildup.
And that's something I didn't know. He taught me something about that because I didn't know that actually happened.
So
well, I know that condensation happens. I'm sorry. I didn't know that the water ran down and that there were little holes so that it would come out of the bottom of the van.
So we know in proceeding forward with our build that we want to be mindful of where we put more insulation at so the water is still able to exit the vehicle, right? We don't want to block up no drain ports or nothing like that, because condensation is still going to happen no matter how much we insulate it. We just won't see it, but it's going to be happening on the other side of the van because hot air mixing with cold air is going to create that.
Right.
Period, you know?
Absolutely. But like he said, you do want that drain point so that you don't begin to grow mold inside of there. And that's also one of the reasons why we put the Maxxair fan in, so that we'll be able to have airflow inside of there as well to help dry up. Like it's warm today, so we'll be able to open that up, let some of that breeze come in there and help dry out any of that water and condensation.
Yeah, like that, gang. We appreciate y'all coming along with us on this camping trip. Hope you had fun like we had, because we really enjoyed it. If you liking Glow and you liking what we're doing, let us know in the comment section. Root your Nikki Snatcher, root your family on. Tell them, keep on going. You got this, because God got us wherever we land. And we know this, gang. Yeah.
Until the next time.